Ronaldinho's doing all these juggling tricks down by the lake shore, and
If
Caldwell
he
just
juggles in
comes
that game,
through
he's getting smashed.
and
I'm
does
telling
it.
you right now,
Does it.
if he juggles in that game, he's getting kicked.
I don't
care.
You wouldn't go anywhere near him.
I'll hold
you
you
would
him,
not.
don't you worry. There's probably a
Just
clause.
to get a picture.
Yeah, there's got.
This is Park the Bus with Stephen Caldwell, Kevin Kilban and Luke Wileman.
Welcome into Graham Leggett's for another edition of Park the Bus. St Patrick's Day is in the rearview mirror, but an even more important day, or a couple of days potentially, coming up for Kevin Kilban's Island. Over
Well,
the
this
course
is
of the
Irish.
next 2 weeks.
It's Irish History Month in Canada, if you knew that, Luke.
Right.
So we've got to have a full celebration for the month,
Okay.
which coincides with big games.
Well, it won't be much of a celebration if, as we head into this international break, you come out the other side not at the World Cup, will it?
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm nervous now.
It's getting a bit close.
I'm really nervous now. But I said it to me. There's a bigger question to be asked, maybe around Irish football in general. Anyway, that needs to be addressed. There's a wider maybe issue that needs to be addressed. I think those two games back in November highlighted that. So.
Okay, but that's nonsense this week. Thinking about other things this week, you got Czechia and then Denmark or North Macedonia to get to the World Cup.
Yeah,
and you're nervous.
I am nervous.
And you're now thinking after three months.
In Dublin, the return game as well. If Ireland get through Czechia, they play in Dublin.
So you're most kind of concerned about that Czechia game, getting to that
Honestly,
final.
I've not even looked at Denmark or North Macedonia. I've not, and.
One game at a time. It's like he was back in doing player interviews.
It's not like that.
Well, one game at a time.
Let me tell you why it's not. Because I think the
most boring interview on the planet.
The general feeling is, though, it's the nervousness. It's because it's the first game.
You got Troy Parrott.
Yeah. Have you seen he's on fire? AC Milan, I think.
Oh, look at him.
Who is it? Atletico Madrid. Or big hitters. The big teams are after him now, So.
Well, if he scores a couple in these games. He's heading to a World Cup. He's going to get a great move, isn't he?
Well, look, going back across I was talking to someone about this a few weeks ago. If you go back across my lifetime in football, and your lifetime watching football, watching Ireland, the biggest name would always be Paul McGrath. And he wouldn't be really too familiar here, but legendary figure, what a player, absolutely incredible footballer. He's probably my childhood hero and many childhood hero from my era.
Yeah.
He's on that level. Troy Parrott is like Paul McGrath in Ireland right now because
in terms of like iconic.
Not defending.
No.
In terms of player.
No, not in terms of player. I'm talking around like
just iconic.
Most of the soccer fans in Ireland would have a good understanding of the team and the 26, the 30 players. I'm talking outside it. You know, the people at home, the general casual fan that would pick up wouldn't really know too many of the players. Troy Parrott is in every household in Ireland.
Yeah.
He has got legendary status
because
with what's
of his
happened,
goals.
and that will always be remembered. So
he'll never surpass Packy Bonner for me. I'm sorry, not a chance.
Yeah, Packy for me as well.
He's
would
my
be
hero.
Packy
the only
Bonner
goalie top I ever bought was Packy Bonner's Celtic goalie top.
Really?
Oh, what a guy!
You never considered being a goalkeeper at any point?
Never interested in goalie tops. Never interested in going in goals. Maybe when I was about 8 or 9, I got a Packy Bonner Celtic goalie top. Oh, that was a.
Was it the grey one with the green sleeves?
I think it was.
Yeah,
no, it might have been yellow. I can't remember actually now.
Oh, yellow with dark sleeves.
Yellow with the green sleeves.
That was it. That was it. Sorry.
Two things though. Talking of, by the way, there's been a lot of blowback on your Oscars stupidity from last week.
Is there?
Oh,
I don't know why.
Huge.
Yeah. Because you embarrass yourself.
You have to
mate.
fake upset now.
You really embarrass
show my acting skills.
I listened to it back and I was thinking, what is he talking about?
Listen,
what are you talking
our
about?
man's allowed to have views and opinions.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
why? Just let it go. Just let me be obsessed with the Oscars.
I'll bring that up when you least expect it. That's what I will do.
The kit review went down well.
Good.
So actually, what Stevie's done this week, and we'll get to it a little later in the show. He's bought some of his old jerseys in because he's going to give you one to go in your new pub.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to be able to see which jerseys he's bought and decide which one you want.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to you.
I brought you some right jerseys.
And I haven't seen them.
I want to make sure that this guy gave me a World Cup jersey. You know how coveted that is. A worn World Cup jersey that's in my collection. So I'm repaying him back with some of my most special jerseys that he can choose from, one or two, whatever he wants.
No, I really appreciate it. I was after something like a small token from him. I didn't want anything big, so I can't.
For you, anything.
Oh,
mate.
Stevie, honestly, I'll be nervous picking one here.
Anyway, the other thing from last week was we had Kyle Larin on, and the Park the Bus effect seems to have been a positive one this week because Kyle Larin.
We've had that effect on a few people, in fairness, haven't we?
Yeah.
Except Alistair Johnston, who got re-injured.
Yeah, that's maybe true. But we had Ali Ahmed, and Richard Larea, who went on again.
And they did well after. Rumour has it that Tottenham Hotspur have been on the phone and asked for all their strikers to come on part of the bus next week to see if they can get a victory.
And the manager.
we might be good at that. But
we're not that good.
No, we're not that good. We're not that good. But Kyle Larin again.
Yeah.
And on Race for the Roster this week, Stevie has put Kyle Larin back into the 11. Just a matter
Why
of...
are you sniggering?
Why
are you sniggering?
In the script, it actually said just months after making a change.
Yeah.
Right?
It was actually weeks.
I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks. He's brought Larin out, he's dumped him, and then he's brought him back into the 11.
That's where I would go on it. He's dumped him, right? So, do you remember when he dumped him? And we were...
Sounds like an old girlfriend
we were asking the question... It feels like that, actually. We were asking the question.
Stuck by him for so long.
That's the point.
So long.
He was with him, and we were like, I think this change might need to be made, Stevie. He's not playing any games. He's not finding form. He's struggling. I think you've got to make a change here. No, it's Kyle Larin. Then he makes the change without even giving his man the chance to really go and shine somewhere. Yeah. And he is shining now, and he's proving. If you see the goal, lads, did you see his goal?
Great goal.
Was
the kind of goal we want to see him score, isn't it?
For a good team who might make the playoffs here, could get promoted to the Premier League.
I think they'll be in the playoffs.
Flying, yeah. Well, it'll be them, Wrexham, who's above them.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3.
That last spot's always really well contested.
Well, Millwall are in there, Ipswich, Middlesbrough, Coventry. They've got the top 2, obviously.
Yeah.
He's in great form, isn't he? We could tell when he was on part of the bus.
He was confident.
He just had that little air of confidence.
Well, I asked him about the opportunity of this next camp, and it's like, I've done it. I've shown that I don't need to prove anything.
Yeah. I like those answers. Again, when you're listening back, and I'm really listening to the answers he's given, because it's hard when you're in the moment, but sometimes when you're back and listen to it. And it was more around the fact, I think I asked him a question around, did you feel under pressure to get game time? And he went, no, not really.
Yeah.
I knew it would come. It was like, that was a sort of answer. I knew it would come because he's got belief. Yeah.
But with Promise David out, and Taniolo O'Shea not getting the minutes.
He's getting minutes, guys. He's getting 2 or 3, 5 minutes. He's not even getting like 30 minutes. Yeah. He's not really contributing.
It's Kyle Larin's spot to lose.
It really is.
So he's gone back on himself.
I'll make a counter argument, maybe play devil's advocate here, right? Okay. Jesse Marsch has continuously said that Taniolo O'Shea is going to be his guy, hasn't he? Has he not?
I don't know if he's actually
not without saying it, but he's proved it by picking him.
He's gave us that impression for sure.
Picking him.
Maybe that was text that they've had.
Yeah, probably.
Private text.
No.
He's gave the impression that he's going to play Oliver Shea, I would say.
The reason for that is because of the attributes he probably gives them off the ball and how he wants the team to play. It allows the wingers to have more influence, Jonathan David off. So that's the only way that I would put that as a negative from what you're saying. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think if you're looking at Canada's best 11, I think Larin should start. But with what Marsch has done in the last year, everything leads towards O'Shea, doesn't it?
Well, the only one for me is the opponent. I think that might come into his thinking.
Okay, well, finally, a week from now, we'll be able to put
this... And I know I keep saying this, but it does matter because they're very different strikers. So
is it going to be Italy?
It should be
so
Italy.
The path is Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia, Herzegovina.
Yeah.
Are we going to be sitting here in Graham Leggett's?
Yes, we are.
Talking Italy.
We are. Yeah. We are. They're favourites, Kev.
Yes.
Clear favourites.
Because I know that Wales probably were better than they showed against Canada when we saw them last year. Yep. I think they had a really good end to the campaign. The only problem, I think, even we're talking about Ireland here as well and everything.
Harry Wilson.
Yeah, Harry Wilson's on fire. He's one of the best players in the Premier League this season. So I'm talking outside the top 6 or so teams. But if you're looking at it, the window killed the teams. It killed momentum. It killed Ireland, killed everyone because they finished well at Wales. They had a good November window. And all of a sudden, you've got 4 months to wait. And that's the killer I always felt. I always felt it even when I was playing, that the momentum of the country can stay with you, and you can continue what's just happened recently. So that could go against them. I think it might favour Italy more because of the way that it ended for Wales, that they weren't able to get over Norway. They can almost have a reset from the new year. So that's what leads me to more so to Italy now. I think that they're in a stronger position. I feel, I do think that.
Yeah, bigger players, I would say as well. They do have better players. But the only thing...
Are we writing off Northern Ireland and Bosnia-Herzegovina? Are they done?
Yeah.
No, I'm not writing off Bosnia. I quite like Bosnia. I think decent, I'm telling you.
Well, I always go back. We watched the game against Austria, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they were outplaying Austria. Austria was struggling, and we know how good Austria are in that last match. And Austria managed to get the draw out of the game. And
I also watched them against Romania in preparation for Canada-Romania. I know Canada went out and handily beat Romania, but Bosnia did the game that I watched as well. They were easily the better team. They're a good side. They're a well-organised side. They've got a couple of decent players, not top level guys, but guys that have...
It's in Wales though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Wales. So the world ranking...
beating them in Wales is tough, isn't it?
You know, the FIFA world ranking, do you think that's not correct for Bosnia? Do you think... Because Wales
I think it should be higher.
Yeah, Wales are top 35. I don't know, I can't remember where Wales... But there's a gap, a big gap between Wales and Bosnia right now,
Yeah, there's a big gap. And I feel what I've watched of Bosnia, listen, I'm not an expert, I've only watched the last 10, 12 games. But
I know what you mean.
The games that I've watched, I've been quite impressed with it. The organisation, the way that they play, the type of side that they are, that I'm not confident ruling them out completely.
Yeah.
I do think that they're capable. Now, they got to go beat Wales and then they got to go beat Italy. It's a tall ask. I don't know if they're that good. But
Northern Ireland? No,
I'm ruling Northern Ireland out.
Michael O'Neill effect?
There's no way Northern Ireland can beat
Michael O'Neill's obviously got a dual role right now. He's managing, he's managing Blackburn and he's managing Northern Ireland. Do you think that you can do it? No, you don't like it?
No.
Why?
How can he prepare properly for an international window when he's got club games? It's all-consuming club football. It's the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep, you dream about it all night. You got to go again and again and again every day of the week.
And international football should be also in this position. You should be every single minute of the day thinking about how Northern Ireland are going to beat Italy.
So the difference with international football is that there's obviously less movement, but you're totally consumed with the games that are coming up, the training. Like every minute you're there has to be used well, doesn't it? You know, in terms of training, meetings, heading into the game, preparing for the next game. So you have this whole planning moving into that. Well, how can he be at the centre of that planning when he's in the daily grind championship football?
Think it affects the team, the players?
Yeah, I think it must. I think he must rely on good staff, but ultimately, is that really enough? Like, there needs to be a leader, doesn't there? There needs to be one guy that's kind of pulling it all together and sort of over the top of it. It can't possibly be.
Blackburn in a bit of a relegation battle as well right now in the Championship in England. We talk a lot about race for the roster, but as we get closer to the World Cup, there are more different things happening on Sports Centre. In fact, Stevie's on pretty much every day of the week. You're on a few times.
He's on a lot as well.
I'm only on one. I'm quite happy being on one. So I don't know. I like this guy to get all the attention. I like it.
If anybody who listens regularly did not catch Sports Centre last Friday, it was the debut of Caldwell versus Kilban, which is a debate.
I'm still
every Friday.
I'm still not happy about that. Actually, I felt as though that I put my point across strong last week as well.
Poor loser. He's a poor loser.
So let me explain. Every Friday, these two are debating a certain topic. Last week was, if Jonathan David has a good World Cup, can he take over from Alphonso Davies as the face of Canadian soccer moving forward? You get 3 months.
Three months.
Not weeks. Minutes.
3 weeks, 3 months.
Minutes. No one needs months. No one
needs 3
months. Feels like it. Just feels like it. 3 minutes to debate. And then at the end of it, and we know how superficial he is with all that talk about the Oscars and winning it last week.
Very superficial.
The end of this, however many 12, 13 weeks leading up to the World Cup, one of you guys is going to win the golden mic. They've got a golden microphone. Well, I don't think they have just yet, but they're going to get one.
They're going to get, is it going to be pure gold?
Pure gold? No, I don't think it'll be.
Just be spray painted.
I think it'll probably be brown. By the time it gets to it. But golden sounds better, right? Anyway, well, who knows? It'll be rusty. It'll just be whatever was found in the closet.
There's a prize. That's the main thing.
There is a prize. So Stevie last week, I decide. I decide who wins. Stevie made the better argument last week.
Didn't make him a good enough tea last week.
That's what it was.
Stevie made the better argument last week. Coming up, I think one of the debates is going to be Yamal or Mbappe, who's going to take over from Messi or Ronaldo. That's one to watch out for. But last week, you got the win.
Yeah, I would say
he was very happy.
I was happy. I was delighted with the win. I would say I was good. I would say that Kevin Kilban had a stinker last week. And so, you know, it was a bit awkward accepting that victory because I was only average.
It was more handed to
and
you,
you
wasn't
were
it?
stinking.
Well, I would say, right,
it'd get better as we go.
What I
hope
would
so.
say is,
better.
we'd
I'm going
obviously
to trounce him if he doesn't get better.
But we were talking about the Oscars as well, and I understand what it means to Stevie to get an award, particularly a Golden Award. So
you threw it to him.
I'm
just
kind of,
particularly a Golden Award.
I'd feel guilty if I was going to collect this award at the end of it, you know, regardless of my performance. So
you're not trying to win.
He wants it more than
what I'm asking, are you not trying to win?
I try and win at everything.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So all that was just waffle.
Yeah.
He's good at waffle.
Just like his
mate.
I just want to win. I don't want the prestige or I don't want the award to show for it. I'm quite happy not getting an award. That's what you want. You want that to go on your mantelpiece, you know?
Golden mic when I win it.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought that what Kev was trying to argue was the right thing.
Right.
Like Alphonso Davies is still after this World Cup.
Will
as long as he plays and isn't injured and misses the whole tournament. Alphonso Davies, whatever happens at this World Cup, will still be the face of Canadian soccer.
Whatever happens.
Whatever Jonathan David does.
Oh, come on.
No.
If Jonathan David goes and scores 6 goals.
Well, if he wins the Golden Boot and scores a hat-trick in the World Cup final, well, maybe.
By the way, that won't be the Golden Boot. 6 goals. But if he goes and scores 5 or 6 goals.
But my point in the argument was, which I was trying to... I got one thing wrong towards the end, and Luke just kind of destroyed me off the back.
He didn't like the fact you got a start wrong.
But he doesn't get in the penalty box to get himself chances, and that's the reality. We've seen it. Look, we've decided, well, listen, this is the one thing that I feel through this window Jesse Marsch really needs to address on the areas that Jonathan David is getting involved, because he's doing some great things around the halfway line. Link-up play's been very good, but he's not. He's connecting, but he's not finishing. And this is
not saying getting him involved more, getting him involved higher up the pitch.
Yes, definitely, absolutely.
Because he drops deep to get on the ball.
I watched Juve Sassuolo at the weekend, and David was on the bench. Boga started. Milik came back for a long-term injury. Came on. Vlahovic came back, came on.
I forgot about
everyone came on apart from David. So he's club-wise, I think he's in a bad place.
Are we with what's happened in the last couple of weeks with him being put back on the bench and Vlahovic return, because the suggestion was that Vlahovic is going to be the 9. That's it now going forward. Are we thinking that this is the beginning of the end for Jonathan David at Juve? Do you believe that?
I believe that 100%. I don't think Jonathan David will start next season for Juventus.
Right, OK.
He needs to move.
Right.
It's just not worked out. Just accept it, move on. I think the club feel like that as well. Find another place to play. Find someone that suits you better. It's just not worked out.
I mean, it was great value for Juve, wasn't it, regardless, because they were getting him on a free. Whatever they were going to pay him, they'll get back. So the money
for sure
will be there for them. It's just where he goes if that's the case. I still feel as though, because the Champions League push is on for Juve and how Serie A is looking right now, I feel as though he can play a role.
He'll get minutes.
But he's got to come off the bench and have an impact straight away, hasn't he?
He will get chances between now and the end of the season to make himself a hero on a few occasions.
Well, see,
he's not just going to get binned out and never play.
He's got Milik and Vlahovic ahead of him.
Yeah.
They're like top players.
Okay.
I know they're getting older, but they've played at the highest level.
So
it's not an easy task.
So you're now going against your argument. If you'd brought this up last week, he would be 1 point up in the goal. That Jonathan David could be the face of Canada soccer, bigger than Davies.
It's more in the jersey what you're saying.
But he just said
he's saying that he's going to come.
But then he's got to be a star at club level to do that.
Not necessarily.
Of course you have.
Not
necessarily. Be the face of Canadian soccer.
I think it does go hand in hand, Stevie. I think if you're in form, you're in a better state.
Alphonso Davies is, because of what he did so young and where he is at Bayern Munich.
I understand that, but if Juve are pushing him out the door and he goes to the World Cup and he performs for Canada, and it's going to be harder if he's not in club form, I get it. But
so you're saying it's a last chance scenario for him to get that big move or something?
No. I'm saying that if he does well at the World Cup and he's leaving Juventus, he's going to have a whole host of teams that want to sign him.
He's not playing for Juve. He has then got to raise his game from a level where obviously no game time, not showing that he's scoring, he's not showing that he's capable of getting chances because he's not on the field. So how does he raise his level from that to being a goal scorer with Canada, where he hasn't had chances in the last year?
We'll see.
There's a huge gulf here, Stevie, that we've got to find here, you know?
This is another enormous window for a guy like him, isn't it?
Yeah.
He really has to perform. He has to score. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about him every week again and Park the Bus.
I know.
He got 2 minutes off the bench. He never came off the bench or whatever. He started, he never scored. it's going to keep building and building. So this is a big window. Can he silence the critics or people like us by banging the goals in, scoring a couple of goals in 2 games and saying, I'm the man, you know?
Now, one of the clips that has gone most viral, and apparently things from Park the Bus sometimes go viral. He would know because
he knows. This is his dream.
Because he's a TikTok guy, right?
He's the guy that always goes viral.
He was even doing
viral in my life.
He was even doing breakfast television this week.
I know.
He was on a CP24 breakfast show and like.
I love him so much.
Show business, guys. You're going to be busy.
Honestly,
show business.
Show business. That's what it is. That's what you are. You are. You know.
You are show business.
Show business in the same suit.
Quite content, yeah. We're not talking about that one anyway. If anyone that's watching any of the shows this week, point out Stevie's in the same clothes for a few days anyway. He forgot to bring another suit within 2 days on the trot. But anyway, no, what I was going to say, I've gone now.
I was talking about viral clips.
Oh, yes, sorry, go
TikTok.
on. Go on.
One of them that got over 3 million views on TikTok was, remember he came back from AFCON with this big conspiracy theory about the whole AFCON final, Morocco, Senegal.
Nonsense, wasn't it?
Which was nonsense.
Yeah.
It was nonsense.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was saying at the time.
But Senegal won it and have now had it taken away by CAF, the federation, and they've given it to Morocco, saying that Senegal forfeited the game when they walked off and stopped the game.
This is a joke, isn't it?
Oh, it's embarrassing.
It is a joke.
Yeah.
How a federation can just make things up.
Almost 2 months after as well.
I know.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
It is ridiculous.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Because there's some good teams and some right players in Africa, and it's just embarrassing, isn't it?
I know.
For everyone concerned.
I think, everyone the AFCON's been I think it's got better and better. It's got so strong, and the quality of football has improved so much across the last 30 years or so. And there's always this been something that's levelled at African soccer, African football, that says, look, that's not right, this is not right, refereeing decisions, all these sort of things. This just maybe goes towards the naysayers, the negative energy that goes towards CAF. It's just to say, look, why does it need to be done this way? It doesn't need to be done this way. If that decision was going to be made, it should have been made within 24 hours, easily done. It still would have been wrong. But
you were there. You were in the stadium. And presumably nothing... You thought there was something strange going on.
Yeah.
But presumably at no point when you left that stadium did you think that the result would be overturned.
No chance, no. A result's a result. I mean, the ref was to, blow the whistle and signify the end of the game. If the game's ended, you know what I mean? To forfeit it, basically.
Because they walked off, that changed the game. Which, I mean... Did it really have that much of an impact on those players?
A lot of things change games.
Yes.
It's up to the official in the field to sort of put an end to whatever the change is. A red cards, call the game, whatever it is, forfeit the game. The official is still in charge of that game, and nothing was done to kind of signify or bring an end to the match. So I just don't get all this. It's utterly absurd. It's a shame. They've took it off Senegal. They put the trophy behind military control, so they've got it locked up. They're like, no, we're keeping it. Hakimi, the Morocco captain, fair play to him, has come out and went, we don't want the trophy. Senegal won the cup.
Yeah. Would you want to win in that situation?
No.
Would you call yourself, if Ireland got into that situation, would you then call yourself a Euro winner?
When Ireland win the World Cup final by default, would I still... No, I wouldn't claim it. Absolutely no way. No way, you wouldn't though, would you? You wouldn't, because we understand how the game is, and you can't just make up the rules as you go. You can't just think all of a sudden now we need to rectify this. Whatever anybody thought at the time, we're 2 months down the line, that's done. You've moved on from it. So no way, I wouldn't. No.
So Park the Bus.
You would as an England fan. I know you would as an England fan.
They'd do anything to take the trophy.
I'd do whatever So Park the Bus is going to recognise Senegal as the AFCON champions moving forward.
Yeah,
heading
not
towards
changing.
the World Cup. We are going to
not changing on that.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah. Well, I think we can safely say Senegal lifted the trophy.
Yeah,
they lifted the trophy.
They won the tournament.
I've got the pictures on my phone, guys.
Right
there you go. Then that's what we have to go with, don't we?
Yeah, Senegal are a good side.
What would you have done with your if all this happened, you got the medal and you were asked to send it back?
Oh, I'd have locked it. I locked it away. You're not having it.
He's not got a great history of taking care of medals and caps, has he?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there we go. But
hey,
I don't know where any of my medals are, Kev. Not that I won that many, but
No.
I never. I mean, the victory is the celebration for me, not the actual hardware.
It's the memories,
medal.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the memories of what's happened and things like that.
Lost them all.
The victory is the party.
Yeah,
the victory is the party
I can
afterwards.
remember every party. I can remember every party.
That's what I struggle. I don't remember the parties.
Funnily enough, though, as you talk about memorabilia and stuff, we've got some of your jerseys. We mentioned it. So now's a good time to bring them in, because you talk about your different medals that you won and things like that.
I've not got a ton of jerseys, but I've got a few jerseys. And I wanted.
We should say, by the way, if you're listening, try and get to YouTube.
Yeah,
but we will describe what they are and the story behind them.
I'd actually just like to show that one to start with. If someone can see that one, if they can get in that one there.
Well, he's going to hold it up.
But I want to say that because I just want to because I know this hurts somebody that's on this. Go on.
Don't mention the club we beat.
I'll let you do it.
So, this wonderful man gave me one of his World Cup jerseys, as I said, and that is, I mean. There's not many people get World Cup jerseys. And he asked me...
I got some bread and some eggs.
He asked me if I could bring a jersey in for the Cooper, his new pub, which will be opening very soon. So everyone within the area, please go to the Cooper. Yeah, we'll see. We'll be there a few times.
If it ever happens.
And so what I did was I went through the collection. I don't have a lot of shirts, guys. I have maybe 20 shirts, 25.
I can't believe I've had an advanced look at some of these, and I can't believe that he's willing to part.
No, I know. I see that one at the top. There is absolutely...
I picked out some of my most prized and favourite ones because I wanted this guy to choose one or two, whatever he wants, to put in the pub. So
I'm not having that one at the
top.
By
the way, he said these were just in a drawer. They're not even framed or anything.
I'm the same. I never asked anyone for a jersey, and the only one I asked for, I asked for two actually. I got Neil Lennon's jersey when I played against Celtic in a pre-season game because I wanted a Celtic jersey. And I got Pierre van Hooydonk's because he was a Celtic player when we played against Holland. They were the only two jerseys.
That's a good one.
And I always say it because when I played at the World Cup, Carlos Puyol asked for my jersey after the game. So
you said no?
I swapped with Puyol.
Sorry, mate, I'm swapping with somebody else.
So I didn't.
Oh, you got Puyol's.
What he's saying, he only asked for two.
Yeah.
Right? There were many more people came and asked for his.
Loads. I did. I
asked for international jerseys, but I would very rarely ask for club jerseys.
No, I didn't.
It's not the right thing to do. Ask for a jersey a guy you're in the same league as.
No, I never did.
I kind of regret it a bit now, but
I'm the same.
It wasn't my way of thinking.
You know, playing against Brazil and Argentina and all these sides, and Italy and all these great teams. Germany.
By the way, hold that thought. He's playing against the Brazilian legends.
I know.
Did you know that? It got announced now. Toronto FC legends against Brazil legends.
Are we going to it?
Caldwell at the back. Ronaldinho.
Off the shelf, lads. Flying.
Who said that?
They're up to 250. 250.
They don't want to come and see Ronaldinho.
I'm telling you, big.
They want to see Caldwell.
Caldwell
v Ronaldinho. What a battle that is.
It's going to be a good one, isn't it?
Well, Caldwell v Ronaldinho would be...
Adriano. I think I'm just as excited about Adriano as I am about Ronaldinho.
Wow.
Adriano's coming, Maicon, Champions League winner.
Brilliant,
Emerson, Juventus, Roma guy.
That's great.
So it's a good few. We've got a good team as well. We've got Javinko, we've got Dero, we've got Julian. Julian's going to come and play.
That's great.
Julian de Guzman.
Yeah.
Daniel Henry, Ashton Morgan.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good night.
That's why.
Lose a bit of weight, guys.
Honestly, you're so vain.
Didn't go out all weekend.
So vain.
Didn't go out all weekend long.
I'm off the booze till the game.
Honestly.
Well, I don't know if I want to commit to that one. It's a bit
okay,
long.
here we go. Get this one out of the way because this is like...
this
is a playoff jersey.
I'm not having that.
Playoff jersey.
No way.
Worn jersey, this one, Kev.
This is like... I watched that game. I always remember...
What a shot, eh?
I think I was in the pub
a few Burnley
that.
fans would fancy this. So 2009, Burnley Football Club hadn't been in the top flight for, I think it was 40-something years.
Yeah.
Played in the final against Sheffield United, Luke's team.
Yeah. 1-0
victory. Wade Elliott with a classic goal. And this shirt was the away strip at the time. And this is a shirt that I wore in that game. Walked the steps, picked up the trophy.
Yeah.
Caldwell 6.
That's magnificent. That's a big jersey, mate. There is no way I'm taking that one. Absolutely no chance. That's a magnificent jersey.
Yeah,
that's one for your kids.
It's one of my favourites,
for your grandkids, hopefully in the future, mate.
Next one here is also a bit of a collector's. This is Birmingham back in Europe when we qualified for Europa League. What was it? 2010-11. Great campaign. We got 10 points. Never qualified for the knockout. It's never been done.
Right.
It's like usually you're definitely through with 10, but it was a crazy tight group.
Yeah.
Caldwell 4, Europa League badge.
Oh, that's
I don't know what game. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a kind of game thing on it, but could have been Bruges, Club Bruges.
I was going to say, who was in your group?
Bruges, Maribor, and Braga. from Portugal.
Good.
Great group.
Very good.
Great group. We played really well. Unfortunately, we never went through. Next one here is a Scotland one.
This is great, by
This is
the
the
way.
one for you, Kev, I think. A Scotland one for an Irish pub.
2010
Norway,
FIFA World
Scotland.
Cup. That's like
World
a
Cup qualifier.
Yeah.
Qualify in Oslo.
In Oslo.
But let's just show the camera the front of the video, the front. Now show them the back, and this is why this one's so special. S. Caldwell.
S. Caldwell, yeah.
You know what that means?
Oh, I do, yes, because you played alongside your brother.
So two brothers played in that game.
You're giving me a
Very, very important moment for the family.
And you're willing to give the jersey to...
Two brothers had a bit of stinker in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, you want it gone?
I remember you telling me the story. Yeah, it didn't go to plan.
Gary Caldwell got a red card and Stephen Caldwell got injured in the 55th minute or something.
Right. So you're trying to get rid of that one?
Yeah, I think that was... I mean, it does mean a lot to me. Any Scotland jersey means a lot to me. But and it's one of my few qualifiers, actually, guys. I never played in a lot of qualifiers. Played in a few.
Did you win the game?
No, we lost.
Right.
4-0 or 4-1.
Didn't have a good time. Didn't have a good day.
I know.
Wasn't a good one.
I know the result.
Yeah.
Love that one.
Just
He just wants to know it.
the,
He's still mad about the
Just
Sheffield
leave it was
United
a bad
one.
day. It was a bad day.
This is an old
I love
Newcastle
this.
one,
It's a
Kev.
great jersey.
Eh?
That's a great old jersey that I remember when
What is this?
we were
Even
young.
the sponsors coming off the front. Look.
Yeah, Northern Rock.
That wasn't
01,
your debut.
02, something like that.
No, it was after that,
A
wasn't
bit
it?
later.
Oh, no, sorry, I was thinking. No,
I think
you may be right with that.
This was an early jersey
Maybe right,
for me.
2000, around 2000?
Yeah, an early jersey, number 30. So that's my number at Newcastle.
First number.
And this is, you know, the crazy thing is you go through these jerseys.
Did you get
realise,
to pick your number, by the way, at Newcastle when you were a kid?
No, not then.
They just give it
I
you,
had
didn't they?
37 and Rob Lee took it off me when he got reinstated back in, which I was mad about because 37 was like, it meant a lot to me. He just took it. And then I got 30, which was my number.
This is huge jersey.
Look at this, guys. It's got an inner thing.
Yeah.
And this was like quite cutting edge at the time. How big is it?
Yeah,
How baggy is it?
I used to wear really baggy jerseys.
Really baggy jerseys.
And I used to wear the long sleeves back then as well, as you can see. Got a long sleeve. So that's quite a... That's an important one to me because it's when I was just kind of breaking
from the Weir Tyne derby, no? That wasn't that one. That
no, I think that
big
was
weekend
a
for
different jersey.
Sunderland.
That was
What a
different
game that
sponsor.
was, by the way.
The double over the Mackhams this weekend,
They
eh?
were class.
Sorry, over
Second
the
half,
Geordies.
Sunderland were class.
Yeah.
And I was really happy for
Robbie
Luke
played well.
O'Nien because of...
He had the stinker, didn't he?
Yeah.
First half.
But then they came back and they won it.
Yeah.
And he's someone who recently had gone all the way through from non-league all the way through and got all the way to the Premier League. And when he made that mistake and gave away the first goal, you just I root for him.
Yeah, he's a great character, isn't he?
Because you know what, I'll tell you a little story. After the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, Hudson wanted to buy a Sunderland jersey, and because Luke O'Nien had been in that show and he liked it, he went and got an O'Nien Sunderland jersey.
Brilliant.
So then he wrote to him and he said, I got your jersey after watching the Sunderland Till I Die documentary. Could you please send me an autograph? And Luke O'Nien responded.
Brilliant.
And sent him a Christmas card.
Oh,
Sent him a Christmas card.
Nice.
Yeah.
He seems like that kind of guy. doesn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you see that kind of a thing happen in a game like that, he's just someone who all the Sunderland fans, he's been with them for so long, he's been on that journey up to the top. So for him, I was pleased that it got turned around. But for you, it's like Newcastle, Sunderland.
Divided loyalties in that one for me.
I mean...
I honestly, people always argue this, I just watch that game as a neutral.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
I'm not joking. I have no allegiance.
No, I can't get... You can't get away
Listen,
with
I watch a lot of Newcastle games. I'm part of a supporters club with Newcastle in Toronto. So I go watch a lot of Newcastle
You're more of a
games.
Newcastle than Sunderland?
No, honestly, I'm not. I'm really not.
He's playing it very neutrally. Honestly, sitting on the fence there. You sit on the fence too much.
Go back through the years and find one time that I've said the opposite of that. Not a chance.
Yeah. No, that's fine. We just don't believe you.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
you can
I
say, because you're that much of a pro, you know full well that whatever you say in this scenario is going to hurt someone.
I can't go against my first team. Like my first team, I went there when I was 13.
So you say Newcastle?
Made my debut
So
Newcastle.
Newcastle are bigger...
But I had such a great time at Sunderland. Most of the time, I had a promotion at Sunderland.
Yeah.
Loved the people, loved the club.
So it's Sunderland then, yeah?
No. I'm completely in the middle.
Right.
You're not listening to me again, are you?
I am listening to you.
Talk over
I just
me.
want,
Just
I want you to make
get
a
me to
decision.
slip up.
I've always thought of you as a guy
There's
who's
got
going
to
to make a
be...
decision.
You can't be that on a level.
watched
There's got to
the
be
game.
one
Are you the
slightly more
sort of
than
guy
the
that
other.
goes to the game with a Sunderland...
He has the half and half scarf.
Yeah, you've got the half and half scarf and jerseys and all that sort of
I
thing,
don't
no?
think so, no. Newcastle.
I just want it to be a good game. I don't care who wins. Let's see a couple of good goals.
This will be a more
good atmosphere.
Who do you boys support?
Oh, Robbie flip-flops, of
they
course.
Change.
He's Newcastle.
They're like their dad. They're like their dad.
Will's Newcastle. Will's always Newcastle.
Right, okay.
Will was devastated on Sunday. Robbie was delighted because Robbie just likes to stir things up, doesn't he? So he was just happy that there was drama, you know. But I have to say, the way Newcastle started, they got the early goal, the mistake. They were running around like crazy. And I did think to myself, they better score 2 or 3 here because they cannot keep this up. And Sunderland survived, got to half-time. Newcastle blew a gasket cave. Sunderland destroyed
I only watched the second half. And at
how good was
half-time,
Sunderland?
the analysis was that Newcastle should be 2 or 3 up here. You know, they were on top. They played with such energy. So when Sunderland scored quite early, second half momentum just went with them, didn't it? It was a really good performance second half.
Some of it got out of hand, but the supporters arriving at the stadium, all that kind of stuff, the atmosphere, just everything it means. We've talked before about what the North East means.
You know, I played Merseyside derby. I played a Black Country derby that's probably a little bit Wolves, West Brom, like real big games. And you would have played like for Birmingham, so you know the hotbed in Birmingham, what it's like, Steve, for those big games. Nothing compared, really. I don't think to that North East derby.
We played in the same derby.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we played against each other, didn't we?
I think we played in a couple, actually, against each other.
Amazing game.
Yeah,
it's an amazing game. It really is. And I think that's largely down to it being separate cities, isn't it? I think that's what it comes from. So being so close.
First one in 10 years as well. So there's,
if this was the debate segment on Sports Centre, I think he's probably done enough to convince me that
He's Newcastle.
No, that he is actually down the middle.
I am.
But then I'd like to debate this with him properly, if we're having a real good debate back and forth, because I get to the bottom of where he really is, and I think it's Newcastle.
I think it's Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think he's made a good job of being convincing about the fact that it's neither.
You don't have to choose always. You can be in the middle.
Can you?
I don't know about
there is that grey area, then what it is. Well, so you're a half and half scarf man.
I'm not a half.
He's a half and half scarf man.
You've just
He's a half and half scarf man.
You're not listening to me, Kevin. Again, I'm not a scarf guy.
I'm listening to you. Honestly,
I'm not a scarf guy.
Oh, unless it was on a runway with a nice hat and whatever. Like,
you're not a scarf guy.
I'm not a team scarf
nice
guy.
Nice little flowery scarf.
You're a jersey guy then. You can split the jerseys. You actually split jerseys too. Honestly,
that'd be kind of cool. That
yeah,
I should have done that for you. And
I've seen that.
Sent you that for the pub. Half and half jerseys.
If you had the chance to go and manage Newcastle or Sunderland,
you had the choice. You had the choice.
They both want you. Exact same deal. Exact same squads.
It'd be down to money.
You can't say that. It's down to money, or it's down to his what? I mean, Newcastle have been in the Champions League this last year, so they've had more success.
So it's Newcastle. Right. So it's Newcastle. That's it shouldn't be about money, Stevie. It should not be about money. This is your
I don't have a choice.
Superficial, Steve. That's what I'm going to have to keep on calling you now.
Yeah. By the way,
last jersey, because this is a cool one, and I nicked this off my brother. This is not mine, but I thought I'd bring it into show. This is a Manchester United jersey that my brother got at Celtic Park, Celtic FC with Manchester United. And it's a Vidic.
Was that the Champions League game?
Yeah, remember the game?
Yeah.
I think it was a game.
Scotland, 07-08.
Sorry, I didn't even see that.
You know, there was 2 games, and we need to get this checked. But there was one that I was at, and I'm sure Man United wore blue. That Nakamura scored the free kick, and I think Celtic won. And there was another one that Giggsy scored. I think in quick succession each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they wore blue twice. So I don't know exactly what game this was, but what a jersey!
Oh, 07-08. You can find out.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
What a player, eh?
Stevie, I can't tell.
How good was this guy?
Vidic was good. I wouldn't. If you're picking my best Premier League 11, I wouldn't have Vidic in it. And that's going back our era, isn't it? However we're going to do it. Vidic was very good, though.
Best Premier League 11. Who are you having then?
I think Jaap Stam was better than Vidic.
Oh no.
It was, yeah.
No.
I'm telling you, Stevie. No. Jaap Stam was so quick, so strong. He used to be left alone at the back. Jaap Stam, when Man United played one. Sometimes
you play against them both.
Played against them both.
Right.
Yeah. Stam was better than Vidic. Stam was better than Vidic.
Talk about 2 great players, and you think about where these guys would fit in this modern game.
He's going to sit on the fence.
Their principles, their values,
I think Stam,
their defensive mindset.
Yeah,
they would be.
Yeah,
I mean, defensively, head and shoulders above. I would say 99% of the defenders in Premier League today.
I think it's a good point, that, actually. It's a good point that the game has changed so much that it is about ball playing now rather than actual doing your defensive work.
Yep.
Yeah, we're talking about different international games coming up this weekend, and Harry Maguire with the England squad. I mean, he's been, talk about a resurgence when you're mentioning Manchester United defenders.
And he's been through it as well, though, hasn't he? He's going
to be in the World Cup squad, isn't he?
I think so. I would take him. We said it months ago, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
We're chatting about centre-halves. We said take Maguire.
I think the added resilience that's come... I mean, we know... I think even... We've all sat there in studio when we were covering Euros and World Cup and questioning the decisions at times. Maguire's not been at it this season for his club, and, you know, Southgate continued to pick him. I think it showed us, and showed me in particular, the reason why he has picked him. The resilience he showed at United, because he was a scapegoat for United, and how bad Man United have been over the years. Everyone pointed to Maguire first and foremost, and he was trying to do the right thing as captain of the club half the time, trying to come out with a statement to unify the supporters and the players and keep everything running smoothly. To me, Harry Maguire, I think he epitomises what I would love in a player, what I would love in a teammate.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a perfect teammate, I think,
So, are you going to pick one afterwards or what? I mean, we've told everyone you're going to pick one of those.
I'm not taking any of those jerseys off you. Absolutely. I honestly had a
Do you know what, Kev? Do you know what, Kev?
Are you sitting on the fence?
I'm not sitting on the fence.
Well, pick a jersey.
They're probably
because they're too special.
They're probably safer in your possession on the wall than they are in his cupboard.
Stevie might. Well, what it will be.
Lose them.
Stevie will probably see it more in the pub anyway, wouldn't he? He'd see it more in the pub than he would at
He's
home.
going to live there. He's going to live there anyway.
Even if it was on his wall.
I want you to create a corner of the pub that's like my corner. You can have 2 or 3 of these shirts, and I'll just sit there every day. Couple of Guinness.
No, we'll talk about this one.
Nothing daft.
Nothing daft. Absolutely nothing daft. But it's daft of me to suggest that I can take one of them off.
You got to take one.
I'm not taking the Burnley jersey. No way. Your first jersey as well, the Man United jersey means a lot, and definitely. I mean, I wanted a Scotland jersey.
Take the Scotland.
You've played with you. That's alongside your brother. That's alongside your brother.
You got to take a Scotland. I've got a few.
I think it's great that you've brought those in. It's great to see those jerseys.
You got to bring some of yours in next time.
I'll bring some in. I'll bring some in. I've got a load knocking around, but no way, I can't take those off.
We'll get you another one, but you got to get a jersey up.
Oh yeah, I will.
Getting a few jerseys. Take a few.
I want a Sheffield United jersey, to be honest.
I got a couple of mine I can bring in. I haven't got Sheffield United, but I did play for Pomona Panthers.
Oh yeah.
And I did play for White House Juniors, which I got. I can bring in.
Did you ever play?
The White House and the Pomona were the 2 pubs that sponsored the teams at the time.
Did you ever play when you came to Canada when you arrived? Did you ever play?
No, I didn't play from the age of 12.
Oh, that says it all.
I only played till 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't because I was working in from the age of 14 I was working in the radio station.
Oh right.
That's why he's so good.
Yeah. I signed for a team.
Calling games as a teenager.
Yeah, no, do you remember I told you I signed for a team here locally? My first game I was playing and a lad threatened to knock my teeth out. And that was the end of my career in Canada playing soccer in the domes. So yeah.
On the Carabao Cup, by the way, Man City managed to beat Arsenal.
Brilliant Man City were.
Yeah, they were good. And Pep Guardiola again gets the job done. And
brilliant.
Different level. But bit of criticism for Cherky. Did you see the kick-ups that he was doing on the side? And to be fair, Pep Guardiola didn't like it either.
Nah, shook his head.
Yeah, I saw that.
What would you have done? You would have gone through it. And then
Ben White did. Yeah,
he did, didn't he?
He did. He gave him a kick. Gave him a kick a bit. It was silly. It was a shame because he was so good, Cherky.
Yeah.
Second half, he was unbelievable.
Has that ever happened to you?
Things like that.
When you've been on the...
I can't remember. Boys never did stuff like that.
No, I don't think that would have been. But you know when somebody's done something special, maybe nutmegged you or beat a couple of players and he gets to the third guy, what happens? He gets cleaned out.
Yeah.
You have got to take them out. You'll take the yellow card and you get on with it.
That's what
There's
White
nothing
did.
like that I remember. I remember famously going back even to when I was a kid, the stories of Alan Ball used to sit on a ball. Everyone remember Alan Ball was a famous Everton player from the 60s and World Cup winner.
World Cup winner, 66.
Yeah, and apparently, like he was in one game, he just sat on the ball.
Yeah.
And this was, these were the sort of showboating that went on.
He used to do that.
So I'm thinking on the night of Friday, May 8th, I think it is, maybe something like that Ronaldinho's doing all these juggling tricks down by the lake shore, and Caldwell just comes through.
He's getting smashed.
And
I'm telling you right now,
does
if he juggles in that game, he's getting kicked.
I
don't care.
You wouldn't go anywhere near him.
I'll hold you to that.
You would not.
There's probably a
just
clause.
to get a picture.
Yeah, there's got to be a clause in Ronaldinho's contract.
No kicking.
No kicking, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember, he's got that chop, Steve, you know, where he flicks it with the outside of his foot and then he chops it back?
Yeah. Can you imagine you end up being like a highlight reel or something because he like megs you or something?
I would love to see that, and it lives on YouTube forever.
I need to get training.
Rainbow flick over Caldwell who slips, and it goes.
Oh, man.
There used to be, and I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't go down the corridor where it was, but there used to be a big picture on the wall at Red Bull Arena, now Sports Illustrated Stadium in New York, and you were there when we saw it once.
Yeah. Me, you, and KJ. Yeah.
We're walking down this corridor, and I think was it Thierry Henry was there, Bradley Wright Phillips in the picture, wheeling away in triumph. This incredible picture of all the home fans celebrating, and on the floor, you can just see the back of the jersey. Caldwell is in a heap on the floor in his TFC jersey, and it's a huge on the.
I'll tell you something. I played so well that game. I think we lost 2 or 3-0, and I played so well.
Yeah.
You know, one of the games as centre back, we were like,
everything.
That was unbelievable, and we still got beat.
Yeah.
So concerning, you know.
It's amazing though.
What we're just walking 7-0.
We're just walking towards the broadcast position through the hospitality, and it's like, look who that is on the floor of this huge picture.
Great game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was.
It was nice to see Bradley Wright Phillips inducted into the Red Bull New York, or New York Red Bull is what they used to be, Hall of Fame. He deserves that, you know. He was a terrific striker.
I played against Bradley Wright Phillips at Charlton actually when he was at Charlton. I think that was probably just before he came over to the MLS. He was good, very good. Like I think he wasn't top draw, so he was never going to be a top end Championship or top end even maybe mid-tier Premier League striker, but very good goal scorer at the levels in lower leagues in England.
He got so confident in North America, Kev. He was just, I mean, he had Thierry as well to like help him into it, and once he started scoring goals, Luke, he couldn't stop, could he? He just had like an air of confidence about him, and obviously the league was maybe a little bit less back then, and he found space and he banged the goals in, and I was happy to see him. He's a good lad, Brad.
Anyway, if we can get a picture like that from that game with Ronaldinho just wheeling away from Caldwell or whatever, he's in a heap on the floor or something.
We will get footage of that game. I will have that footage of that game.
We got to be there to see that.
So you're saying,
by the way, that is the problem. Here's the problem.
Yeah, he's not going to score.
He said Ronaldinho is not going to score in the game.
Well, unless contractually I'm told to let him score with 15 minutes to go.
But you're going to say that anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to say, well, contractually, he had to score. He had to make me look silly.
I'll show you the contract.
Hey?
If there's no contract to let him score,
you better be ready to call the game the day after. It's Toronto-Miami.
Yes. Okay.
At BMO.
Yeah.
The Saturday after the game Friday night, he's probably going to be unable to walk.
I'll be fine.
Unable to walk, and then maybe the party afterwards might be. You know, so there's two different things we look at here.
Unless we win.
You won't be at the party? I don't believe that. So that's almost as outrageous as the Oscars.
Yeah,
a party that he won't go to. So producer Greg, I think sometimes gets a bit sick of us just talking about whatever we want. So sometimes
it's ramble.
Every week he writes things down and we just discard them.
Or you discard them. You control this show.
I don't control anything.
You control us.
Who says I control you? I would not take responsibility.
That's why you're in the middle.
Ever.
The controllers.
I would not. I could not control you. Even when you on or off the screen.
You've had a fairly good attempt at that one. I've seen you at times, but yeah, go on.
But he's given us this 3 big questions because actually we talked a little bit about the international break coming up. Oh, it's not an international break. It's an international window.
Yeah.
It's not a break for international. Anyway, you know Kev likes his words, right? It's no break because the international. So we talked about Ireland.
Yeah.
Canada, of course, playing Tunisia and Iceland at BMO Field. We know the squad. We've talked about Kyle Larin now and the race for the roster. But producer Greg has given us 3 big questions.
Right.
And he's taken a bit of advice from when he used to type them really small, but so he's written them huge on the card in Sharpie. So 3 big questions. Number 1, who has the most on the line in camp? A, Larin. B, Tanny. C, Crepeau. D, Dane Sinclair. And Jesse Marsh has said that both keepers will play one game, which I know frustrates you because you said that as of November.
At this stage.
By the way,
excuse me,
Stevie's right.
Somebody say to
me.
Yeah.
He
Do
is
you want
right.
to tell him he's right?
He is. No, he is. He's always right.
I appreciate
he's
that.
Always
I like
right.
when you tell
He's
me
always
I'm right.
I always hand him out the compliments when necessary. You know,
Always
just doesn't
is a
get
bit of
enough
a-
of them.
always is a bit of a
He sits
stretch.
on the fence too much. When he actually makes a statement, he stands by it, and it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Game
really
each.
good.
Game each.
That's good. I'm
So
looking.
we won't know who the keeper will be till early June.
Yeah, I still
At
think
the earliest.
I still feel like, you know, when we had Shea on as well, and we were
Yeah.
asking the questions of Shea. Like Shea I knew him. He was a goalkeeper that needed to be, you know, maybe just in it for his own mindset.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm right. So the goalkeepers I would have played alongside.
But do you blame Jesse for still being on the fence?
Not now, no.
Right.
Not now.
Okay, let me add one more here.
Okay.
A. Larin, B. Tanny. We've already talked a little bit about that. And if either of them have most on the line, C. Crepeau, D. Dane Sinclair, or E. Anybody else that you want to throw in as
Well, he's
being
mentioned Jonathan David there. There's an element you could make an argument for that being.
He doesn't have most on the line.
No, he doesn't. I'm just saying it might be a big window for him.
Sorry to interrupt you, Kev.
No.
Most on the line for me is definitely Sinclair. Because out of the four names, he's the one guy that feels he's going to start. Like, because the two strikers know that it's a real tight race, right?
Yeah,
They've got their confidence, but inside they're probably thinking, this is a tight one.
Yeah.
And Crepeau knows he's a bit behind. He's hoping that he can just do enough.
Yeah.
But this guy believes he's going to start. So if we're talking about most on the
Most to
line,
lose,
I actually think Dane Sinclair needs a big, commanding game where he looks like the number one.
We've said that for 3 or 4 weeks.
I know.
Can you do
and
that
it's not
against
happened.
Iceland or Tunisia?
Who knows?
It's
I
not
mean,
like
the game's
he's
a
gonna-
game,
Yeah.
isn't it? We don't know what's going to happen in the game.
What
But
was the game? It was the Colombia game where he made the
Yeah.
big save,
Did
and that
well
was
near
his
the
best
end.
one.
Yeah.
Near the end.
Yeah.
But there's been nothing. He's not really had an awful lot that we
Yeah.
can go on to say he's had a great game. It's not a bad game, but there's not been a lot for either of them. I think look, the argument is.
what do you think?
Crepeau and Sinclair. I think you're right in saying that. I'd go towards Sinclair because we all feel that Jesse
the
has been
edge.
pushing towards him. So I'd say that for those two up front, you could make the argument, and I would take it. But I'm with you. I think Sinclair too.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say about that. I don't actually think that whether he play, whichever it is, which game they play, Iceland or Tunisia, this isn't going to be decided on what happens in one game against Iceland or Tunisia in the March window. It's going to be decided on what happens over the course of the next 2 months leading up.
Club form.
Club form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you think?
But
in that case, who has most on the line?
What if there's a big mistake? Really,
Well, but
maybe.
does that then make any difference if Maxime Crepeau has a bad 2 months with Orlando?
If Crepeau keeps shelling 4 and 5 goals a game,
yeah, no.
I know that needs to stop at some point.
Another one,
There's no way you can start him in a World Cup because his confidence will be wrecked.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether Dave Sinclair lets one through his legs or whatever.
Well,
I think it does. I think it does because we're getting to the stage now where there's no games left. And Jesse, no matter what we all think, obviously watching club form, there has to come a point where you're making a decision for what he's doing in the Canadian jersey.
Yeah.
There has to be that decision. And that's where I've always lent towards Crepeau because the history of playing at Copa and things like that puts me towards Crepeau. But he's got to make a decision solely on playing for Canada rather than looking at them as club form.
Okay. Question 2 that producer Greg has come up with is in relation to a couple of strikers. Ben Pepple's got called up from Plymouth Argyle. He's been on a tear, almost out of nowhere, really, to get to this point. Broke through with Cavalry in the Canadian Premier League, went over to England, was in the Luton system for a while, now scoring goals, probably in as good a goal-scoring form as he ever has been.
Yeah.
And he gets the call up for Jesse Marsh's squad. And then another one is Daniel Jebison, who's at Kev's Preston. 1 goal in 15 games, I think, Daniel Jebison. So the question is, would you rather have an EFL League One striker with 11 goals in 16 games or a Championship striker with 1 goal in 15 games? So it's comparing really the level. And at the end, those are the numbers in 2026. At the end of the day, I mean, they're probably not direct.
That's a good question, actually.
They're different players.
Yeah.
It's different types of players.
Different types of players.
It maybe comes down to
Different
what you
qualities.
actually want in the striker. But it could still be, we have 1 striker spot left. Are we going for this guy or this guy?
Yeah.
What are you giving more weight to in terms of scoring those goals in League One and the drop-off in level, or being a regular who's played in the Championship? And Daniel Jebison's also played in the Premier League as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say this to start. If we're Canada as a nation are putting our hopes on Peppel or Jebison firing the goals in for World Cup success, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, these are...
How he's saying we now?
Yeah.
Now he's got his passport?
Canadian.
Yeah. He's a Canadian citizen, yeah. Good man.
In big trouble, right? You know, it's like these are kind of bit part players. They could play minutes. You know, even I'd argue if either of these guys are starting, it's an issue.
They won't be.
They won't start. No.
So to answer the question, I think Peppel's got an opportunity to put himself in the frame to maybe make the squad, and that'll come through training. He might get 10 minutes here or there, but he's got to impress enough that Jesse Marsh, in the back of his mind, will think maybe he's a guy that we need. There's a couple of injuries, or you know, there's something different about him. Do you think it's well ahead?
Well, what I would say as well, I'll just say this, sorry. I remember going back to Italia 90 and England picked Steve Bull, which was a real name. That he was a lower league striker who scored goals at League One. He got to Championship and scored goals. Yeah. So there's an element that even the big nations at times...
Completely different type of player.
Yeah.
He was bringing them something different, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was Championship.
Yeah, he was Championship,
like the second tier.
But he got Wolves promoted out of League One. I think it was Division 3 as it was then. Yeah. And... well, it was actually Division 3 because
Division 3 to 2.
It was 1, 2, 3 before Premier League, even that. So why I'm bringing that up, like there's history of teams picking players that aren't necessarily playing at top level football. So that's where you could lean towards him on that. But a player that's I've played League 1, I've played League 2. I went through the leagues in England before I got up to, and there's a huge gulf from League 1 to Championship. Right. There's a gulf. So the quality in the Championship is way better. So, look, we haven't seen enough of Daniel Jebison, you know, really to scrutinise his movement in games and things like this. But we've seen enough of him. We've seen enough of him in a Canadian jersey. And I think when Jesse Marsh got Jebison involved originally, I think there was an element of, you're coming to play for us, that we've got a World Cup here, you're going to be really part of this squad. He's been part of the team for longer. Now, I'm not saying that rules out anybody else, but I think that Jebison playing at the level that he's playing puts himself in a stronger position.
With Peppel, do you think coming in here, it's almost as if, and he might get some minutes, he might not. Right? Yeah. But Jesse Marsh is going to either consider him more or rule him out based on what happens in training.
Yes.
Like, what level is he really? He sees him scoring the goals in League One, but is he able to come in and compete with these players who are already here on that same level?
He wants to see them against the top players. You're absolutely right. He wants to see them at an international level of player, and he wants to see can he keep up, and he wants to recognise the success that he's had, which is nice. Yeah. You know, he saw he's banged in a few goals. Now it's bring him in, have a look. Is he capable of going to the next level, Kev? Does he have that step in him? You know, and I have not seen enough of the lad to say that I know the answer to that, but I think it's really smart of Jesse bringing him in.
And you saying that you've been around, you know the quality that's in there, day-to-day in training. And I go back to the point when I first got into the Irish setup, I'd come through the leagues and I got to Championship to international football for me with the players. I mean, we had real top-class players when I first got into the Irish setup, and it was a step that I wasn't ready for. I knew that I was like, wow, this is a different level altogether. I've got to get to that level. But so also, I'm sure that'll be the thing.
But also what happened, Kev, was you saw the level. You were a capable player. You proved it. You went back to your club and you're like, all right, I need to be better at this. I need to work more on that. So it's a little bit of a carrot for people to say, I recognise you. This is what it takes. This is the standard. Go and try and find that. Maybe it's at Plymouth, maybe it's a move, maybe Plymouth go up, they're in decent form, Plymouth,
and by the way,
sneak into playoffs.
There's also, there's other avenues to get into this side. It might not be this time. It might be the next Gold Cup. It might be that, as you say, Plymouth go up, or he's turning heads now, so he's in the Championship next season. And then 2 years down the road, he's in a Gold Cup squad.
And there's been injuries, and he wouldn't have got his chance if Promise David was fit. So I like it. I think it's great. I actually don't expect him to play minutes. I hope I'm surprised, but I think it's more, how is he in the environment? How can he cope with a level? What is his personality like? Let's learn a bit more about this guy, and let's see if he's one for the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, number 3 on the 3 big questions, and the final thing on the show this week, unless you guys have got anything else that you
probably bring something up.
Want to bring up.
You'll go on a rant somewhere.
Well, we've brought up Ireland. We don't need to talk. Or do we? We can finish off with Ireland.
Who do you want to see most this camp? Okay, and there's like 7 different cards.
Yeah, there's 10 players.
A. Priso, B. Flores, C. Peppel, D. Marshall Rutty, E. Russell Rowe.
Who do we...
Do you want to go first, Stevie, on that one?
Yeah, it's going to be A for me, Raphael Priso.
I'm glad you said that.
He's the most exciting one heading into this camp. He is in some form. Watched him again Saturday night.
Watch him the weekend, Stevie.
How good was he?
My word. Honestly, the pace, his recovery, his passing.
Passing was outstanding.
I think I texted you, and I thought you'd actually brought that up. I text our group, didn't I? And I said, everything he does is perfect. And it's such a strong statement to say when you're watching him, because obviously there's going to be flaws.
You said, hold on a minute, so sorry.
Everything he's doing for Vancouver.
First thing is, I went to bed early on.
Yeah, I know, you missed his.
Saturday
you
night,
missed.
so
He
I
wakes
missed
up
the
with
group
100
chat.
texts, me and you. Texting back
I
and
woke
forward.
up and there were like 83 messages.
And you don't bother going through them.
Right, and I'm like, I go back to the start and then see, oh, okay, this is about the game or whatever, and then I just like...
It's usually just me and Kev in these late night ones, isn't it?
Everyone's in bed, I'm just watching games, so it's all right.
Right, so you said everything Ralph Priso does is perfect.
Everything he's doing is perfect, yeah. Everything he's doing from what I've seen.
No, I mean, that is...
To be honest, 25 minutes in when Kev sent it, he was pretty much perfect.
Honestly,
in that period.
I'm watching...
But then the other 65?
Well, he made a mistake
Yeah,
or
he
two.
did. He did, yeah.
But I'm going to say, actually, I don't mind it when he makes a mistake or two. It's going to happen, especially if you're trying to pass between lines and the things that Ralph does. But what I like is there's a different Ralph now. He has a confidence about him where when he makes a mistake, he goes to the next level. He forgets about it. He kicks on. You know, there's no like sort of like go back into your shell. He has a confidence about him and an assuredness that I think is so impressive, and I want to see him.
I'll ask you, right? Look, I was never a centre half in any way, shape, or form. The transition from him as a midfielder back to centre half took us all by surprise a little bit, really, in how well he played in the latter stages last season of and towards the MLS Cup for Vancouver. He started this season, I think, even better.
Yeah,
I think
totally
he's probably got to know the role a little bit more.
Steps better.
Steps,
not a little bit.
Leaps better. An understanding of the role. Do you see the height as a problem? Do you see physicality as a problem? Do you see any issues around Priso? And is there anything to suggest why he's not going to be part of Canada's, or is there anything to suggest that he will be part of Jesse Marsh's World Cup team?
I don't see height as being a huge problem. I don't think the game's played aerially as much these days, and I actually think Ralph jumps really well. I think he's lacking a few inches, of course, but he makes up for that with his athleticism. Yeah. So I don't actually see him get really targeted aerially very often. That might be a flaw of MLS, or it might be the fact that he can cope, he can keep up. He's got the pace, as you've mentioned, Kev. Yeah. He's got a passing range that I think's pretty special, and he's got this renewed kind of concentration and sort of single-mindedness that I think took him to the next level. Yeah. You know, the confidence is there. He's added parts to his game. I think Jesper Sorensen is brilliant, guys.
Do you think he can get... Where is he in your race for the roster?
He's on the bubble, I believe, outside.
Yeah.
Outside on the bubble.
But, I mean, he has to start one of these games. Look, 100%.
The only thing we can judge him on is probably what, at this stage, 10 games at centre-half, max, is it?
Yeah.
So no, it's more than that.
20.
It's more than that.
Is it 20? Is it that many?
Including playoffs as well, some big games. But that was going to be what I said in terms of, yes,
that's
he's playing well, but
can
you do that to somebody? Not do it to somebody, but can you rely on somebody in a World Cup in that position where they've played a handful of games over the course of 9 months?
I mean, what is your
consistently?
What are your options, though? You know, it's not like you're England and you've got Harry Maguire and you've got John Stones and you've got these other guys that have played, you know, almost 100 times for their country.
So you would deliberately
hundreds of Premier League games. You don't have a nucleus of centre backs.
But would you start Priso? You say he's got to start one, so you would leave out a central defender like a Waterman or somebody who you think you don't need to really find out about them.
If Cornelius is fit enough to play a game,
he's not played though, has he? Can you really put him in?
I think Cornelius will play a game left centre back, and I think Priso will play the other game left centre back. I do.
Well, what I would look at is and outside Cornelius and Bombito, we would probably all say are the first choice centre halves
at the moment.
At the moment, if fit and whatever you things like this. And then we've got Luc de Fougerolles, who's really pushed and potentially could start. Alfie Jones is another one, of course, that's got to be in there. If we're looking at the fifth, and if there are any injury problems and things like this, the profile of him, I was just going to add to it, the reading of the game with Priso, his reading or his ability to recover as well is outstanding. You mentioned the pace, but his reading of the game, I think he's better than Miller and Waterman, personally. I've seen more from Priso in these 20 games or whatever it is at centre-half that's impressed me more than from what I've seen of Miller. And Miller was a bit different because I've been a bit disappointed the way things have gone for Miller, because when I was watching him in World Cup qualifying for Qatar and how good he was in the ball and how good he was as part of Wilfred Nancy and Waterman within that centre-half structure, the way that they used to play, you speak about it a lot, passing between lines, the build-up play, everything was very good. Waterman, to me, doesn't fit the profile of a Jesse Marsch back four. I don't think he's quick enough. I don't think he can recover. I don't think he's aggressive enough.
He's done really well for Jesse Marsch.
No, I think he's... Stevie, I'm not denying he's still a decent player. I don't think he's aggressive enough or recovers quick enough. Where Priso, in my opinion, is more aggressive and he recovers better. So I think he's better than Waterman. Personally, I think he's better than Waterman.
Still a big call to take him ahead of someone who's played central defender for however many years.
Absolutely. And this is where it could come back to bite him, his lack of... It's not... Look, he's had an MLS Cup. That'll be the biggest game he's played in his career. And he played well in that game. And if you look at it overall, that he's building towards something even bigger, way, way bigger, don't get me wrong, at the World Cup. Pressure, if he was called upon to play in that game, I think he's got everything that's needed within his game right... I'm not saying right now, I'm saying within him, that I've always thought was kind of there with him. I think he's got to be in with a huge shot at this stage now.
I think you have to look at, you know, what scenario you bring in one of them on, you know. And I think Waterman might just have the edge at the minute because you're trying to hold the lead. He's got the size, he's good in the air.
Experience.
Yeah, a bit of experience. You're thinking, I'm putting him on, making a back five, you know, and he's going to win a few balls for us in the air or whatever, or the threat for corners, as we know, is coming into the game. Crazy, something like that. So he's probably got the edge, but I do think Ralph will get a start in one of these games. And what he does in that start will be vital to his chances.
Okay, well, the next edition of Park the Bus is after the second game of the international window.
After the second game?
After the second game.
So we'll know Ireland are there.
So we'll know whether or not...
We'll be partying if Ireland are there.
He might not be in the show, on the show.
Oh, he might not be, actually.
Might be on a flight.
You should go. By the way, you should go.
You will,
if you miss that...
Yeah, I know, but
I know you've got the chickens.
And family.
We'll take care of the chickens.
We can. Stevie will move in.
Yeah, I bet.
We'll help him.
I know.
He'll look after the chickens for you.
I'll sleep outside and take care of.
No.
Sounds like they sleep in a 4-star
It's
hutch
unlikely.
anyway,
It's unlikely at this stage. That's probably how it is. And I'll be settled watching the games with you. I think that's how it's going to be. We'll watch it, us guys, and we'll see how
Thursday
it goes.
we'll be in here watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, I am nervous, and the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, it doesn't help those nerves either.
All right, we are all rooting for you.
I am. Big
Scotland are in. We never thought that would happen. Ireland might get in. That would be. I mean, that would be so good. Okay. So do join us after the international break for the next Park the Bus. But for now, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for watching Park the Bus. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.